Welcome to Film Study and All American Podcast with Lexi. I'm Lexi, and I'm so hyped because we have the first ever video podcast. You will see my face in a second. And had a really cool conversation with Kaya about Layla. So let's get it going. Hello. I'm such an awkward person. And even more awkward because I'm on video now.
Oh!
It's only 2 seconds and this has already gone down the drain.
We're good. We go up from here.
Nothing but up from here. No, but so excited because we're talking Layla.
Oh
it's only going up from here. It's only going
it's
up
going
from
up.
here.
So, you know what? Kaya and Lexi, we got it.
We're going to take that again with Kaya. And everybody loves her YouTube videos because, as my friend Monda says all the time, you're a gossip lady on YouTube. You just be giving us the tea on All American, and it be working.
You know, I'm a gossip lady, but I'm a gossip lady by myself. So this setting right now, I'm living. Because now I got somebody to gossip with.
But you literally, I will, and I don't know if people know this. They probably don't because I laugh so much on this podcast. But it's actually kind of tough to make me laugh because I feel like I have a funny family. So it's just like someone has to be really funny to make me laugh. And I will bust out laughing listening to
Don't put me on that level. Don't put me on that.
Nope, you're already on it.
You know? Oh, gosh.
You're already on it.
Yeah,
but...
it's different. This is different. And it's for someone who loves All American as much as I do, so that makes it even better.
We're so hyped for this.
Gosh.
We're so hyped for this. And we're talking a character we both enjoy, Layla, which historically not a very loved character.
She's a work in progress.
And you know what? She is a work in progress. And maybe I'll title this like misconceptions about Layla. I think
yes,
we have a balanced view of who she is, apart from sort of what she's known for, which is the idea of stealing Spencer, which
we see beneath that.
Can Spencer really be stolen? But yeah, so we're gonna talk about it. But what we're first gonna talk about is number one. Why do you like Layla? She's your favorite character, right?
Oh, girl, you gonna throw that out there like that? Let me backtrack. Let me see.
Okay. Who is your favorite character? Maybe I should start with that.
You know, I've never thought of that. Thinking back to how I viewed the show the first time I watched it, season 1 when it first came out, Layla. I would have said Layla. Now that I think about it, I would have said Layla.
But it's changed.
Has it though? Let me think for a second.
Yeah, think about it. I will gladly put this out there. After season 3, seeing how much Layla went through in season 3, and in general how she handled it, and we'll get into this as we go on. But in general, how she handled it, she really shot herself up to top 5.
For you?
Well, actually, she was always top 5. So let me not even say that. She shot herself up to top 3. She shot herself up to top 3. She was previously top 5.
I think it might still be. I mean, I've really come to love Liv though over these last few seasons.
Everybody know Liv is it's like Liv is on a whole nother like plane, and then it's the others.
Like Layla dropped for me a bit the way she was acting in season 2 and everything, which we'll talk about a little bit.
We'll talk about that.
And I think during that time is when Liv started to come up for me a lot more.
Yeah.
And then
rise in the ranks.
She was working her way up there.
She was. That's what Liv do. She just
was like, you know what? I'm coming for that spot, Layla. So
coming for your spot, coming for your man. I'm kidding.
And she got both. Wait. say Liv might just be passing her a little bit right now for me. Just
Okay.
because the way Layla ended at season 3 for me, I was like, girl, we were making progress. So kind of took it down a little bit. So Liv
Yeah.
right now. But at some point they may be tied for me.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. No, I yeah, like I said, Liv is my favorite character by far, but there's a second tier that's like, okay, now it's ranking everybody else. Uh and I always say this that I've said that I have a different perspective on Liv and Layla's friendship. That's what I'm calling it, people. Uh
Mm.
friendship because I watched watched the first season out of order. I saw the
Oh, did
middle of the
you?
season before. Yeah, I saw the middle of the season before and then I had to go back and watch the beginning.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I missed at least at first, I missed the whole Spencer stealing thing. And
Ah,
so I think that I already saw the outcome of all of that, and
okay, yeah.
so I anticipated, so it wasn't like a big shock to me as a viewer because I knew it was happening. And you know
Yeah.
I always knew, no matter what, even the first episode that I saw, I always knew that there was something between Spencer and Olivia, and I knew it was going to happen down the line, so it wasn't really like a major factor in disliking Layla for me.
You know, I think for me it's because with me watching the first season, I watched it after it had already come out. Like it was on
Hmm.
Netflix by the time I saw it, and I
Yeah.
binged it in one night. Literally one night. I started at work. I ain't there no more. It's cool. I started at work and stayed up until the morning and finished the entire season. So for me, because it came at me so fast, the entire progression of the relationships between that in that first season, it was hard. Like it's hard looking back now to see, like, to take everything in the way it came because I
Yeah.
binged it in one day. So when I looked back at it a few months ago, seeing it, slowly, it was like a
With
week,
fresh
seeing it
eyes, them
slowly, yeah, with fresh
rewatches be hitting.
eyes. Yo,
Okay, them
girl, the stuff you
rewatches.
see that you don't see the first time around,
Facts, facts.
I was like, I skipped it the first time. So that rewatch really helped.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I watched it too on Netflix. And so maybe that's also, maybe that, like, you have to watch it on Netflix to think that Layla is a good
Yeah.
person. Specifically season 1, you have to sort of watch it in Netflix in a binging type mode to
Yeah, just
understand
binge
it.
it real quick.
Right, yeah. Just binge it and then like you'll be fine. And then
You'll
like
see it.
once you go back and rewatch, you'll realize more of the context surrounding her.
Yeah.
But let's talk about season 1, because I'm gonna shout out your video that you did on your channel, and I'll link the channel here. But that you went over her character development, so we're not going as in depth, but I thought that we could do, like I said, the big moments. um
Yeah.
and so I think one of the first things where we really get a sense of her character is when she's telling Spencer, right, that anybody can have a sad story,
Yes.
because he was still sort of I think Spencer at this time was still in the mindset that everybody in Beverly was privileged, and what problems could they have, right? Because they have money,
Yeah.
and really nothing could be all that bad because they have all of these resources at their disposal. And as we saw in season 1, is like him coming to the realization that that's not true, right? Everybody can have a sad
Yeah.
story no matter where you come from, and we recognize that privilege is a thing, but to the extent that everybody is going to be completely okay because they have money is not accurate.
Yeah, that's how he saw it. Yeah, that's definitely how he took it when he first got there. So I think for
Right.
her to say that was a big
Huge for
realization to
him.
him. Yeah, it was big for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
also with her, it's because at this point, we saw the feeling she was developing for him at this time. It was still fresh, but we saw it.
We did. We saw it.
So for her to open up like that to someone you're just meeting, I'm like, even for her, I think it was a big moment for both of them because I feel like this is the first time that she was really beginning to open up since her mom's death and everything with her dad being away and stuff. So to open up to Spencer, who you just met like 5 minutes ago, um,
Right.
it's something new, it's refreshing, and the fact that he's actually sitting there listening to her and he's taking it all in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that was a big moment for both of them. They saw it, everybody saw it. Like,
I I gotta add this in for Monda and Kendra and myself. He also tried to kiss her after she. No, he tried to kiss her after that whole after she.
he did. Listen, good on her though because she pulled it back a little bit. She was like,
That's what I'm saying. No, good on her. And I
strength.
just want
Good on
the
her.
audience to recognize that she's unloading this trauma and
You see, she was going through a lot. We noticed up front the trauma she experienced because she had a lot to work through. That's the
right.
main thing. I feel like that's also why I saw her as a really strong character to begin with,
Yeah.
but just things that she had to deal with early on in the series is because of everything that she had gone through, off camera,
Yeah.
with her parents and being alone all this time. And yeah, Asher was there, but was he really? So to
Exactly.
have someone new and fresh for her to open up to, the girl was going through a lot. The way
Yeah.
she handled
No.
it could have been better a little bit, a lot of it, but work in
Right,
progress.
because definitely a work in progress, and we see that like she takes that moment, right, and that's the first time she's opening up to someone, and slowly, she reconnects with Olivia through this season,
Mm-hmm.
and season 1 is sort of the deterioration of this facade that she has of like, I'm fine and I'm Miss Perfect, right? Like,
Yeah.
I have it all together. And that's like what season 1 is. And you said something interesting in your video that said, specifically in season, I don't know if this is season 1 and season 2, but it applies. She's selfless to a certain extent, and she's honest
I know what you're talking
to a certain
about.
extent. And I think that sums her up so well. I
Yeah.
think that sums her up so well. So say more about like why you said that, even though you're a fan of hers, why you can admit that she has moments where she's not great.
She's not. I mean, she's not a good friend. She's not. That's something where she needs a lot of work is
Mhm.
opening up to others, being honest with others. She's not good at any of that.
And
So,
I'll add, I think that the moments where she's most not a good friend, I think is mostly towards Liv, even though I think
mm,
sometimes those moments are overblown as a whole,
yeah.
which I feel like I've explained that. But largely, I think she's a good friend to others. Coop,
Yes. Yes.
Spencer, she's very good to Spencer, if you can call them
Mm-hmm.
friends. Um, are they friends? I don't know. That's another topic for another day. But she Asher, right? She let him live in her house, right? We've
Yeah, because she
seen
has a good
her.
heart.
She has a good heart, and I think that she's shown up
Yeah.
for a lot of people. And with Liv, that just sometimes doesn't translate.
Yeah. And I think for her, I mean, Coop wasn't into Spencer in that kind of way. So with her and Coop, it's because they connected as friends. Also, when she was going through her tough time,
Right.
was when Coop and her really started to have that connection, and they had music and everything to work on. Whereas with Liv, it's because one, they were into the same guy. And to have that, especially at a
Mr. Steal
time
Your Girl,
where
yes.
Mr. Still Your Girl. Oh my gosh. I literally used that line today. Um, for her, it's because, Liv came in and she was going through her own issues, and Spencer
Right.
came into her life new. At the same exact time, Layla's going through her own issues, but everyone knows what Liv's issues are at this time. No one really knows what Layla was going through by herself, and she wasn't even trying to recognize those things for herself. So I think for her and Liv, I don't see the friendship. Well, in the beginning, I don't see that friendship and it's a work in progress
Mhm.
still. I don't see that friendship
It's
being
definitely a work
there.
in
It's
progress.
it's a lot of work they gotta do
It's
there.
always a
I
work
don't
in
see
progress,
it.
even more so because of what happened this season.
Yeah, I can't. I think it's because they had this interest in Spencer, and for you to try not to make it seem to yourself that you're into this guy, yet you're still trying to push your friend towards this guy who you have these
Right.
feelings for. You still have all these things that you have to work on, your daddy issues, mommy issues, and things like that. You're not opening up to your friend, and to see Liv, to her, Liv is slowly making progress because Liv is now talking to Spencer at this time in season 1, and it seems like Liv is moving forward, but Layla still hasn't worked through her issues. So yeah, that friendship just wasn't something she was trying to work on. It seemed like she was trying to force it in
Yeah.
ways to be like, oh yeah, this is my best friend, and to when they were doing the whole school project and everything to bring back what they
That was
used to
definitely
do.
forced. Yeah.
She was forcing. She was trying to bring back what they used to be like, and I mean the effort was there, but it it was very forced on her part. It was like, how do they say it? I don't know if she was half-assing it basically because
Right.
because she I feel like she wants to do the right thing, but at the same time, because she's not being honest with herself, it's hard for her to do that. How can you try
Yeah.
to push these relationships and build these relationships if you're not being honest with yourself and working on your own issues, And her and Liv both had things that they had to work on. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I could
Yeah.
definitely see her being a strong character, and I see that she does have a good heart. I recognize that in her, but there's a lot of steps that
She's
she needed to take to do
definitely,
those things.
definitely. And I think that she, because this is how I saw when she sort of first reconnected with Liv, is I think that was more so about the anniversary of her mom's death. And so, to your point about she's honest to a certain extent, it's just like at this point, just tell Olivia, like, I miss
Yeah,
my friend, and my friend that was there for me when my mom died and who went through that with me. And she sort of
yeah.
did it in a underhanded way, if yeah, in an underhanded way of like, maybe we can get back to work on this project instead
You
of like being
see,
just fully
she's trying to cut
fully
corners.
she's trying to cut corners and make it what it's like not really about, but what she and like tries to slide in slowly what truly
Yes,
why she reconnected with her. And other people, there's this idea out there that she reconnected with Liv because of Spencer. I truly don't believe that. I think it's
I
because
don't
it was
think
the
so.
anniversary of her mom's death, and I think that she wanted her friend because it was the
Yeah,
anniversary of her mom's death. And she, to your point, and you made such a good, you explained it so well, but just someone to sit sit in that with her.
yes,
And she doesn't have a lot of people who are just there for her, and Live, for better or worse, is one of those people that's just there for her.
yeah,
um and so she was missing that. uh but yeah, I yes. So overall, yeah, she's definitely selfless to a certain extent.
yeah. And I do believe with her and Liv also, I think it's I, I could be honest. I feel like for Layla, it's a little bit of the jealousy because
Oh, for
Liv
both of them,
has
in my
for both of them,
opinion.
yeah. And starting out in season 1, I feel like for Liv because she had Jordan. Yeah, their relationship was sketchy, but she had Jordan. She has her parents, both parents. And now you meet Spencer, who's this new guy. So you have all of these things. And for her to like live as a whole, another story. But she also had her issues with all of those people, which is why when Spencer came in her life, it was something new and refreshing. Whereas for
Right.
Layla, she had Asher, but Asher wasn't like he didn't know what
Asher
was
is
really
Asher.
going on with her. Asher's Asher. Everyone knows. So for her not to have someone
Yeah.
and for her dad to be away, she's in this big house by herself every day, all
Right.
day. So I do feel like she was also trying to put that relationship back together with Liv out of desperation in a sense
Yeah.
because she wanted someone,
Yeah,
and
that's so valid.
the
Yeah,
more
and
people, the better.
I think, and I've said this before. I think in terms of Layla and Olivia, they're really their biggest insecurities. I think as characters are like sort of what the other has. Right, Liv has this ability to just make connections with people very very
Yes.
quickly, and Layla's really insecure about that. And I think on the other hand, Layla is, and I'm not, because I do think that Liv states what she wants. It's not that she doesn't state what she wants, but
Mm-hmm.
Layla is so seemingly self assured about going for what she wants. Um, and I
Yes.
think that Liv, Liv values that quality and wishes. I think sometimes that she could be a little bit more about like being a little bit more selfish and being a bit more
Yeah, I
like
do see that in her. Yes, like just a go getter, like
right, like
yeah,
go for what I want. And so I think that, yeah, and I've said this before, that they could learn a lot from each other to for that extent, like
yes,
what they really want to work on. But yeah, it's just interesting because yeah, as we go through season one and we see that breakup, right? She was desperate to get her friendship back, and she did, and things were sort of going well. But at the same time, was it? Because quietly, right, and getting back to that, like honest to a certain extent,
mm-hmm.
a lot of people a lot of people point to the ultimate breakdown, like when she was smashing crap in her house.
In the house.
But the craziest part for me, and the part that I feel like is overlooked, is when she was at that diner by herself, and that's when her house got broken into. And she went to
Yes,
the diner, to the all night diner, and she just sat there. And
yeah,
yeah, to me that signaled just how alone that she felt, because she was just like, I need to be around other people physically to not even feel alone right now.
yeah. See, yeah, I feel like that's for her. That explains it so perfectly because once again, she wants people who are going to be there, not necessarily to talk to her and for her to open up, but just to have that surrounding. And that's not
Right.
what she's used to. It's a sense of safety for her because she doesn't feel that in her own home. She even said that to her daddy when she was like, "I don't feel safe," at the party for the twins. Um, so
Yeah,
I feel
sad.
like for her, it's just like it's wanting that security. And
Yes, yeah.
I feel like for her also it's always in those quiet moments. Yeah, she did the whole like tearing up her house scene and everything, and then the whole, even we'll get into like season two, but even when she had her major breakdown on the cliff with Spencer, but leading up to that, the things that she was doing on her own and being in the hotel and like the
Which,
tub, I was like,
the tub, don't even, the tub. But you pointing out the fact, because this is something I like pride myself on, like noticing the little details, but you pulling out the fact that she sat in her room and like tried to start cleaning, like was slowly folding that dirty nasty hotel room, folding the
yes,
clothes on the floor,
listen,
was like, this girl is far gone. She really,
gone,
and
gone.
she doesn't. And again, to give some context, or to shed more light on sort of a misconception about her, I don't think it's selfishness out of pure selfishness, right? I think it's the
Yes.
psychology person in me coming out. But I think it's like the fact that she's been alone throughout her entire life. She's an only child.
Yes.
Her mom died when she was young. Her dad is absent. They were both in
Mm-hmm.
the entertainment industry, which is a very demanding industry, number one.
Yes.
So even more so, the fact after all of that happened, and yeah, she's been alone. And to the point about the Bakers and her going off on Laura, it's because it's what she said, right? It sucks, but it's what she said, and she just doesn't know how to channel those feelings in an appropriate
Yeah.
way. But she feels like the Bakers are really, in my opinion, are really her real family.
Yes.
And so
I definitely feel that.
she just doesn't know how to, like I said, appropriately channel those feelings, which is why she got upset.
Why she had to go off the way she did. Although I was like, don't be treating Mama Laura like
Yeah,
that,
no,
like
no, no.
girl.
I was just like, girl, like you said, she buy your food. She's like,
Yes.
y'all are always at the baker's.
Oh my gosh.
Send Laura Baker a check, please. All of the people that she's taken in.
Oh
Not
my
Billy, he
goodness.
doesn't deserve it, but Laura for
Not
sure.
no. Probability could go somewhere else, but Mama Laura, I mean, she got a good. She has a genuine good heart. Like she was
Yeah, yeah.
trying. I'm like, girl, but she was hurt. You know, that's. It doesn't make
And
excuses for the way she
depressed.
went off on
Yeah,
her
but it's
and
like
depressed. You know,
major
but
depression.
like, and she wasn't trying to recognize it at that time.
No,
So this was
no.
how she saw fit to go about letting out those frustrations. You know.
Right, right. Well, and even like so, as we like moved, so that obviously the party was a big one, and then her eventually telling Spencer. Spencer was huge, and we
Yes.
see the next sort of big moment that I see for her in terms of her character trajectory or whatever is when Liv is there, and she's talking to Liv, and she says like these small little things like can you not say like once I get back on the outside?
Wait. Oh my gosh.
Because when she was in rehab, she really had to deal with this and reconcile this idea in her head that she needed to do work on herself,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that she needed professional help to do work on herself. Like I don't,
Yeah.
how much more of a like humbling factor we talk about sort of how confident she is and how strong she is, but how humbling is it to know I couldn't just overcome this on my own, which no one should, by the way.
Yeah.
But for her to know that I can't just overcome this on my own, that I need to accept help. But so many people, the people in this show, are so used to her being so confident, and so that was
Yes.
a new sense of insecurity for her. Is and as we like saw into season 3, but a new sense of insecurity for her is how people are treating her after she came back from rehab. That she's just this
Yes.
fragile, this mentally fragile person.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like yes, that definitely like made her come across differently to them. Also,
Yeah,
look at once again, Liv showing up for homie when she was up in her
yeah,
little facility getting the help she needed. It was like, we're working on this friendship. I'm gonna be there for you, girl. While you up in here, I'm gonna be there for you. So yeah, I
yeah.
definitely do see how everything changed for her because even after with the whole cotillion episode, and when they were all sitting up in the cafe and they're all talking about going to the
Right.
cotillion,
Which
and
unrealistic. So many unrealistic scenes in this show, but
wait, I'm like the fact that one they were kind of like not afraid, but they were hesitant when she's asking Spencer like, oh, maybe we could go together, whatever. But he has a date. So even situations like that now are coming across as like they just seem hesitant in the
yeah,
way they approach her. And
yeah.
it comes from her finally accepting what she needed to work on, but then also for everyone to see it the way it happened, on like this big
Because she is
scale.
so confident normally. Like she seemed
Yes.
so confident. Yeah.
Yes. So that party, I feel like, was a major turning point, and for her to go to Spencer the way she did up on that cliff was a major turning point for people to look at her differently and to see
Yeah.
that she's the same as everyone. Everyone has issues, and you know, work in progress. We want to throw that out there. Work in progress.
Work
And
in
now she's trying to
progress.
work on it.
Yeah, now she's trying to work on it, and we see one of her, besides, in addition to Coop, who, you know, I make this joke that Coop is all about Coop, and so yeah, they were like, of course
Yes.
she was like fine and not not treating her differently because Coop is all about her
Yes.
music.
Coop was not. I don't even think Coop recognized. Like, oh, you went to rehab when? Like,
Exactly, like Coop is all about what's in it for Coop.
oh my
That's all I'm gonna
gosh.
say on that.
Yep. Listen, mm,
I love who Coop
Coop is a
is as a
love.
friend, as a friend of Spencer, and that's all I'll say.
Yes, even that was kind of sketch, but
Well, yeah, I'm trying to give her some points.
she's been working back up towards her friendship with him. She's been
She's
building
been
that back
working.
up.
Yeah, yeah. Let me say
Yeah.
Coop of season one minus all of the drama that she constantly causes. But anyway, that's the side
Yes.
on Coop. Um, but we see one of the other people in addition to Layla and Coop, and so we're starting to see more people be there for her in her life.
Yeah.
Jordan.
Girl, season 4,
I'm trying
it
not to
better.
get my hopes up because this is truly.
No,
It's
mine are
just.
up.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I appreciate Jamone as a crack ship and as like potential. Jordala is they just have interesting potential, and that's all. As a
Yes.
storyline,
Yes.
that's what I'm
You
gonna say
see
about
it.
that.
Listen, I've noticed looks, I've noticed comments, and
The
you
fact that
know,
we're geeking out over people who have had like 3 scenes altogether.
3 seasons, but have you seen the pressure from those 3 scenes that they have put? I'm just
I've
like,
seen it,
I feel it. I've seen it. I've seen the looks. I know you've seen the looks.
particularly from Jordan. Jordan
Jordan,
gets some
yes.
interesting looks.
I mean, that season 3 scene we got. Come on. So
Both.
I'm gonna say, Jamon was. I liked Jamon. Jamon was nice. It was sweet. But after the whole, she's going to visit school and everything, and I was like, I saw other things that could happen for her. I was like, she got options.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think both
Jordan,
of them have option, and it's just like at this point, it's whatever the writers choose to do. I think they should
mm-hmm,
explore it and see which pairing makes the most sense.
yes. Just gonna throw that out there. Yep. Mm-hmm. I
And by
agree.
that explore, I mean I would like to see Jordala explore
Jordala all day.
because listen,
And you know what's crazy? Because I was questioning the whole bro code thing with who did I want him with? Was in the latest video. Shoot,
is it Kia?
Spencer's brother.
Oh,
Yes,
Spencer's
Kia and
Darnell.
Darnell. I was questioning the whole bro code thing. Now that I'm thinking
But
about it,
you didn't question it with
Jordala.
Jordan.
I did not question it with Jordala. So, but you know what?
Well, I feel
Forget
like
bro code
the bro code and the girl code have gone out of the
out.
window.
Right.
They're
All
not
right.
things in this show. Period. So
Scrap. We're gonna get rid of it. So Kia, go ahead, girl. You want to go? Go ahead. So Jordala, yes,
right.
all four. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm
No.
holding my hopes
Seriously.
up.
Well, and I think because we've seen this over the past 2 seasons that Jordan does have um this care for Layla, right? We saw that when after Olivia
Yes,
told him about what happened and he was upset at Asher, and after defending Olivia
yes,
he was just like, and how about if I tell Layla too? Like, so
yes.
he values her, and we see he was showing up late for his own date to walk this girl
Wait,
in. Like, she doesn't need to be walked in, but she
but she
appreciated
had come
it.
through a lot. She appreciated it. She definitely did, and he recognized that she had been through a lot. So
Right.
even that right there, I'm just like, look at that
It's
heart,
small things.
Jordan.
It's the
Look at his heart.
small
It's the
things.
small things. Yeah, take them when you can get them. Oh my
Gotta
god, the
take
little
the
table scene
crumbs.
when he was
The
sitting there, he gave the little
crumbs.
glance. I said, look at that glance he just gave. Come on. And he's still giving her the pep talk. Go ahead, you wanna go? Like, such a good man.
And
Sometimes when he wants to
she,
be.
when he wants to be, that's the key. Yeah. And I think for her as well, the their last scene this season together. Um no,
Yes,
this has
girl.
just become about Jordala. No, but their last scene together is she's like straight up, which again, she's honest to a certain extent, but this time I feel like she was
Mhm.
very, very honest. Uh, and she, when he told her his plans to go to Princeton,
Mhm.
she was just like, "Is that even your dream?"
Yes. Right. And the looks, I was like, girl, the fact that you even remember what his dreams were, I was like,
Truly,
girl, I was just, I took it all in. I said, look at her, and he's just looking. He's like, it's what
she was
Simone
paying
wants.
attention.
No,
That's all I'm gonna
she
say.
definitely was paying attention for years. She was paying attention because that was his dreams
For
from years ago.
years.
For years, and she
And
remembers.
she got the name right too.
It was
Pac-12 football, bunk. I'm like,
like with your brothers, like I was like, what are we seeing
it
here?
was a
Are we
little.
getting?
It was a little in
It,
depth of a
it
response.
was
Like,
the moment, and the fact that they were a good distance from each other. Six, no, I'm joking. 6 feet, yeah, they were a good distance from each other,
the COVID
and
distance.
and to have that, and because of the distance, to still have that talk between them feel so like intimate in a way,
Right.
and for her to genuinely seem like she cared, because she does, she cared about what his dreams were. Like, are you really gonna change your plans to go away with Simone because that's what she wants to do?
Right.
What about you and the goals that you have for yourself? So I feel like that was a really great moment for the two of them,
Yeah.
and it's leading us to something. It's leading us somewhere.
I
So
think so too. I do think this too. She's learned and grown. And so I think that she would have to be very, very certain that Simone would, if this were to happen, that Simone would be okay with it and that she wasn't
yeah,
overstepping. I had to go out there because I can hear the replies now. But how could she be in her wedding?
listen, listen.
And again, hey,
They know, like
listen,
you said.
yeah, yeah. We're just gonna
So
see. We're
Simone will
gonna
be
see down
happy.
the line.
Simone's gonna, as long as they end on good terms. If that were to
Exactly.
happen, it's perfectly fine.
Right. Right.
So, I'm saying, I'm just like, isn't
I think
though?
it's so funny. Can I say? I think it's so funny that we were supposed to be talking about Layla season 3, and for the
And we
last
got stuck.
like 2 minutes, we're just stuck up. We've not skipped the whole point, but it's for
Oh
a
my
good reason
gosh.
because they have potential.
In case, yeah, in case people miss those moments, we just let them know. So
We just, yeah,
it's
right,
okay.
right. We just wanted to remind you. We just wanted to remind you
Remind
who's been
them of
there
the
for
moments.
Layla, uh,
Hmm.
and um, Spencer. So we know
Yep.
we all know what happened at the cotillion. Um,
Mm-hmm. We saw.
they did kiss, right? Or was it an almost kiss?
Spencer and Layla.
Yeah, I think they kissed, right?
Did they actually kiss?
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he pulled
Okay,
away.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And they had that whole conversation, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry,
He
I
was like,
read it.
I'll
I
wait,
read it
Layla. No matter
wrong."
how
And
long
he
it
was just
takes, I'll wait. He was like, no, because I read
okay,
about it. She was like, you
Spencer.
read about it? Like,
Okay, Spencer. Because you were certainly looking jealous when Olivia announced that her and Asher were dating. To what, last
listen.
episode? The episode before.
Yeah, I'm
um,
just like,
and we know how that all ended up. He done spent the summer with Liv, and okay, to get to season
like,
3,
oh my
this
gosh.
is I'm really enjoying this podcast episode.
It's
I'm
like
just
there's
like
so
now we
many
just
ways we
gotta
can get
kiki like
sidetracked.
all.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, oh yeah, remember, girl? Okay, where we going? Season
um
three?
yeah, season 3. So she's dealing with me trying to remember where we are. So she's dealing with her new insecurity about like coming back from rehab and being sort of
Mm-hmm.
mentally, how people view her mentally, and I also think how she views herself,
Yeah.
as far as her mental well-being. She's very open and honest about that. That was one thing that I loved down the stretch of season 2, and really everything everything at the point of Layla being in rehab on to the end is how she also used her what she learned in rehab to also give support to Liv coming off the shooting. Talked about like the importance of talking to people and being open and everything
Yeah.
a couple of times at the through the end of the season, and I really like that. So going into season 3, she's really being like she's doing well. She's like on her producing tip. Um,
Ah.
I just this season I felt so bad for her. Like
Right? See, this
she's
is
just
it
like
pulled my heartstrings because
me and Spencer kind of happened. So she I think she's the happiest when she's producing and when she's doing music and when
she
she's
is.
pursuing
Yes.
that, which I would love for them to go back. This is like random, but I would love for them to go back and explore her writing again. I know they sort of like push that to the side, but I'd
Yeah.
like to see her like write. Especially she's some material now. No, no, but
Oh,
and I think the so I have a different view on her relationship with Spencer that after rewatching I've noticed. I think
mhm.
that everything in her life at that point was going well for her, except her getting back into this relationship with Spencer.
Yeah.
I think that
Yes.
she put in 120% to that relationship, and she knew that he was showing up with about 40. And if I had to put percentages on it, I truly think that's, because I feel like she, in a lot of ways in my screen, I think that she went above and beyond. And, on the first watch, like when I was first watching it, I think it was just like, it seemed more balanced than it was. But really,
Mhm.
that's because she went and got him this therapist. Like, she
Thank
was like going
you.
to his games. Like, she was going to Crenshaw to
Yes.
be with him. Like, they weren't at her place. And so
Yes.
she was giving, I think, above 100% because she was just like, oh, she was trying to make up, right, for being so horrible to him. And like she was, but obviously we
Yes.
understand that she was going through a lot. Like, you can't,
We understand
I think
why.
somebody need, yeah, I think somebody needs to tell her, like, you can't be hung up. Like, you've apologized, but you can't be hung up on how you treated him, because that wasn't,
Yeah.
there's literally something chemically going on in your head that you can't control, right? And so
Yes.
she needed to forgive herself, and I think that she was putting so much effort into that and into being the good girlfriend, because she knows that the last time that they had that she was the one that ended it, and it didn't end well. Um,
Yeah.
but what she didn't, as well as like liking him and loving him and all of that stuff, but I think what she didn't anticipate was Spencer not being present. And as we, this just clicked for me.
Ah,
Your point about Layla being happy with just being around people because she's so alone. In season 3, she's grown to a point where she's not happy with people just being there. She expects them to like be mentally present because that's what she's
yes.
learned.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Wait. Backtrack.
Go ahead.
Okay. So to lead up to where you've placed her at right now, I feel
Right.
like up until she did the whole breakup with Spencer, she was in a relationship. She was in a relationship but she wasn't really there because she had all of these issues, and going to rehab made her recognize all of these things that she had to deal with, which she did. Like, she came out of rehab with new eyes, brand new eyes. Girl could see. Everything was open for
Right.
her. So I think for her to have this new view on life and on herself, and she was still going to therapy and everything after it, because it's something it takes time to work
Hmm.
on those things. But the amount of time that she spent in rehab really helped her to see these things that she needed to work on and recognize what she wanted for herself in life. So coming out, when she did try to get with Spencer at the cotillion and everything, and him telling her, I'll wait for you no matter how long it takes, I'll wait, because he did love her.
Right.
And at the time, I truly feel like he did plan on waiting for her to get to that place.
Yeah.
She wasn't expecting him to fall in love with her best friend, her
Hmm.
best friend, and to move on the way that he did. And neither did he, because look at the way he went about it. So now going into season 3, where over the remaining of season 2, where she gets into everything with Coop, she's working on music, she's finding these new things that she loves about herself, that she loves to do, the people she loves to be around, the things she loves to work on. I feel like she did so much work on herself to get herself to a place where she's happy with herself.
Right.
And now that she's happy with herself, she is truly in a place where she feels she can go into this relationship with Spencer, not expecting him to not truly be there. And I think for her, the reason why she wasn't seeing it up front is because she wasn't truly in the relationship the first time they were in a relationship together, because of what she was going through. So now, to fully be invested, she was just so set on, being happy in this new relationship with him, and being the best version of herself that she could be, now
Yeah.
that she had come to terms with everything she needed to come to terms with for herself. So I feel like she had blinders on. So she wasn't seeing the way he was in a relationship, really, because she was so invested, and because the love she felt for him had grown so much over this time that they weren't together,
Right.
and she was now happy with herself. So for her to be with him now, my girl, I was waiting for her to see it, to put the pieces together, and I was pushing for it to work for a while there too, until I realized what it was.
Well,
And
and
I was
can
just
I
like,
go ahead? Sorry. Go
I was
ahead.
like, she'll see, she'll notice eventually, like what we see, she'll see it. But it took time. This was new for her. So new.
And can I say, I after rewatching, I have a slightly different view. Like, it's like so close, but I've just noticed something, because I think I've been like wrestling with this idea of, is I have this conversation with some of my friends all the time. Like, is like, because my friend Kendra, she was just like, "Is Layla dumb?" And I'm like, "I don't think Layla's dumb. Like, I don't think that she is." Well, and to your point, I don't know if she like had these crazy blinders on. I think what I've come to believe, and I think my opinion has changed after rewatching some episodes, is Layla is an idealist. And so she had this ideal version of who Spencer was. I think that she just has an idealized version of her life. She has an idealized version of therapy, right? Of Carrie. She some and so she and so she thought what she said, right? I don't even know who you are, when she and Spencer broke up,
Mm-hmm.
because she was just like, this can't be the same guy that, was so worried about me, was so
That told me he'd
on
wait.
right, that told me he'd wait, that was so that the person that I called, like, he's not capable of doing that. I genuinely think that she thought that
Yeah.
he wasn't capable. And so I think I've come to my opinion has changed, in that I've come to think that she's an idealist, and not that she had blinders on, but she was just like, at this point that we're at, like, these two people would just be honest with me, right? Like, if this was happening, like, we know that she values honesty, and
Yeah.
she's just like,
Mm-hmm.
if something was really going on, these two people would just be honest with me about it.
Yeah. I think also because she wasn't expecting it, but then also they weren't expecting it to happen the way it did
Right,
too between the two of them.
right.
So I think it was just a bad
It
situation
was
for
a
the
perfect
three of
storm.
them.
It was a perfect
Yes,
storm,
it definitely.
and
That's so good. Yes,
it led into her being susceptible, right, to her idealized version of Carrie, and like,
yes.
because at the time, right, Coop is being wishy-washy in terms of being a
With her new
client and a
manager.
friend and a friend.
Yes.
I've talked about this extensively too, but how you gonna do dirty the person that didn't even have a late, you didn't even warn this girl that you were
Right?
signing with her, announce it to her dad
I
anyway.
cannot.
So, after seeing everything, how Coop and what went down, and she said from the jump, right, she was just like, I don't, Spencer's your best friend, I'm not trying to get in between, stuff like
Yes.
that. um and so she was very professional about it, right, friendsgiving, very professional
Mm-hmm.
about it, but, or very like mature about it. And
I loved the way she went about that.
yeah, yeah, same. And yeah, but Carrie, to our point about her sort of maybe falling back into old habits, is like having a
Yes.
person around,
A person there.
right? And this is after, it's like, after she's done all this work to be present and to like actually want relationships that are like fully there. And
Yes.
after everything was found out, and after things with Coop maybe went by the wayside for a little bit, then she was just like back to old habits for a second there,
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
sad. Which is sad. So
It's sad.
what do you think? Uh, what do you think is gonna happen in season 4? Where do you think Layla's gonna go from here? Knowing what we just talked about, that she's went through this journey, and I still think that she's learned. Like, she hasn't. I'm not gonna say that she's regressed majorly, but I think
No.
as far as blind spots, Carrie is actually, I think, her real blind spot this season.
Yes.
Um,
She seemed though for a second, with the whole wedding episode that she was catching
right,
on a
right.
bit
She
with
catched on
Carrie.
it, right? Which
She
why
was catching
if she,
on. And then
yeah, I
it
don't.
just it was
I
going down.
Now that was a moment where I did say no. They just wrote her to be dumb in that moment. No, because why would you go? She literally, basically, like, sought, the person Liv, because Liv had brought it up before, out or
Yes.
something, whatever, to say that like Carrie is being really strange, and you're not just gonna go
Yeah.
anywhere with someone that you think is acting strange.
Thank you.
And she had called her mother too. Right? No, no,
Call the
they just made
mom,
her dumb.
right?
They just made her dumb.
I was
I'm
like,
sorry.
Miss, like,
I love when I'm serious. I like get up to the you can't even see it, but they're like the mic, and I'm like, no, she was acting dumb.
no, she's just dumb. Like, that I think that right there was that's why. So I told you like Liv is kind of up a little bit. It's because of this situation right here with Carrie. That's the only reason why. And once again, I think it is because she needs somebody there, and the whole Spencer and Liv thing really rocked her. She wasn't
It did.
expecting that. So I think that was such a huge hit for her and for her daddy. Daddy was around for a little bit, then he went back out of town. So for her not to have
He's
daddy
not her real
and
daddy. Bring back original JP.
we want the OG daddy. Like, who is this?
That guy was not. I'm sorry.
Like, did y'all
Where
not
I'm
think we were gonna notice? Wait, which one was hot? The new one or the old one? Whoop.
No, I said that guy was
Not.
not cutting it, but that I just did what I was
Oh,
like. I don't want to offend the actor. I'm sorry. You're a really good actor. The original
but I
JP
just
is just so
love the
permanent.
OG
He
daddy.
he. We know that he's a horrible character, but he just made him seem 3 dimensional. Like, you understood
Yes,
why he was trash just by
like you
like
felt.
how he played it.
You know what it is for me too? It's because the face of the OG daddy, like you looked at him, you could tell deep down, like he wanted to do what was right for
That's
his
what I'm
daughter,
saying. Like, you
but
felt it. He made it.
he was
He
struggling.
justified. Yeah.
Yes, but this new one, I look at him and I'm just like, he look like he don't care about her. Like he
Yeah. Yeah.
he ready to hit the road again. Like his
Right.
face just does not seem like he's invested to his child, you know? So yeah, I want
Right.
the OG daddy back. So now for her not to have daddy around, he showed up too late now. For her not to have daddy around for that time and for this new relationship to come out about your ex and your best friend, it rocked her. And I think that's what really threw her back to her old ways in the sense of needing somebody there, wanting somebody there, feeling the
Right.
need to have somebody there, which is Carrie. And Carrie saw it. Carrie stuck her claws in, and
Yeah.
she's
Capitalized
taking
on
my
it.
girl on, like, she knows what it is. Carrie knows how Layla is, especially after rehab and everything, and listening
Yeah.
to my girl pour her heart out in rehab. Carrie was taking everything in. She was like,
She was
when she
fun.
was in
That's
rehab,
something
and she was
else
like,
that
tell us
I like.
something
I
no one
haven't
else
even
knows.
connected because I almost think of like Carrie season 2 and Carrie season 3 as two different people because it's like, oh, this is so random. It's such a random storyline. But though I really appreciated how you pointed out how, please go watch her video, because how you pointed out how crazy Carrie actually is. Like before she was known as Crazy Carrie,
Before she was
when she was still
known,
acting
when
crazy in rehab. Yeah.
girl, when she, I the first thing that stood out to me because I didn't catch it the first time in season two, but when Layla was in rehab, she was like, "Tell us something no one else knows." Like, why? So annoying. The fact that Layla is just sitting
You
there
pointed
the
out that she
same.
screamed Layla when she was having her little
Yes, her
thing.
breakdown. She was like,
I
"Ah,
didn't.
like
I
Layla, I'm
literally
sorry."
did not catch that, and that's what made me think. Because honestly, I'm being completely honest here. I really thought this was a random storyline that they just decided to do. Like at the end of the season, they were like, "We have some more
At the
episodes."
timing.
Like Chelsea just came back from maternity leave. We need something with Layla. Like like
Right?
literally that's what I
Yes.
think that they were thinking.
I'm
And
so
but when
dead.
you pointed it out, I was just like, bro, maybe this was
They were building
planned.
her up. They were building her up. They said, "We got,
It
we got."
wasn't random like I thought. Yeah,
So yeah,
but
she's taken girl on a whole ride because she knows how Layla is, and
yeah,
Layla, she's vulnerable right
yeah,
now,
and we
and she
know
wants to
that'll be
see the
figured out.
best.
Right, right, and we know that that'll be figured out pretty early on. But I hope for Layla that this season that she continues like the path that she was early on in the season. And you,
Yeah,
to your, I'm gonna go back to your point that she's a little bit more selfless and a little bit more honest. Yeah, that's like I think that those two things will help her, just help her be a better friend, help her be a better person, because when she's more honest and when she's more selfless, then it's not,
yeah.
it doesn't leave as much room as for things to happen, like once
I'm
she's
done.
currently kidnapped right now. So
And she don't even know it. But I do feel like she's trying because even with Liv coming in, she was like, "Oh, we were looking for you," and she was like, "Oh, we." You know, like she could have made a big deal about that situation in the studio, but she didn't. She just, went about her business, went back to the whole Carrie topic. So I feel like she is taking the steps to, be more selfless and
yeah, I
to,
to your point, I'm gonna, this
yeah,
is my last point about them as a whole. I honestly think by the third, I don't know if it's the third episode, but by the third time that they're all maybe hanging out in a group, right? Spencer, Olivia,
uh-huh.
Layla, and other people, she's gonna be fine because she's gonna realize
I knew
that
you were
they're
gonna
in
say it.
love.
Yep.
I don't know if people have been making this big deal about Layla's reaction, and I don't know if it's going to continue like the way that they
I
think it
don't
is.
think it's gonna last the
I
way it
think that the
is. Yeah.
biggest thing, it wasn't that Spencer and Olivia were it was a shock.
Yeah, I feel like it was just because she was hurt,
Yeah,
with the way she found out. So I definitely don't feel like that's something she's going to dwell on too much, especially going into season four. And I feel like it kind of came to a head for her, and she got some closure with the whole Friendsgiving thing and with the studio situation between her and Liv when Liv was just like we, and she was just like, oh,
right.
but I have bigger fish to fry. I got Carrie over here. She's kind of crazy. At the
Truly.
time, she realized that. So I mean, the relationships that she has with each of them, it's something that she'll have to work on over time to get to that friendship level, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of just being hurt by them being together, I don't see her like dwelling on that going into season 4, especially because she has all these other things going for her, and she gonna have some of the prospects out there, you know.
Yep.
So
That we talked about that
she
extensively too. No,
yeah.
yeah.
So I don't see it. She'll be over it. Like she'll see honestly that they do care for each other and they have the same friend group, and there's not very many of them in that friend group. So
Facts. Facts.
you
Facts.
gotta pick and
Right.
choose.
Right, right. Well, I am going to end this quickly so that my laptop doesn't die. But thank you so much for being
Oh
on.
my gosh.
And yeah, no, I hope you enjoyed it because this was so fun. And I need to
Girl,
have you back on for a season 4 episode
I'm
with
like,
you.
I've been missing out, yes. I've been missing out on this kind of connection. So
Yes.
yes, I will definitely be
Yes.
back if you have me. Don't worry.
Of course, of course, of course. So
Oh my
thanks
god.
again. Thanks for listening to Film Study and All American Podcast. Hope you've been enjoying these videos as in videos and episodes as we've dropped them in celebration of 500 subscribers on YouTube. And yeah, hope you are super excited for this season 4 premiere dropping in just a couple of days.